Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael, and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named Fresh Peanut in the relationship subreddit. The post is titled, "My boyfriend keeps letting his friend come on our dates." Okay, how we got into this predicament in the first place is that my boyfriend really likes his friend Liam. He is like a brother to him. He saved his life once and so on. But Liam is on all our dates. I even brought one of my single friends on a double date, and Liam and she do not date, so that failed. I have honestly asked my boyfriend why Liam is on our dates, and he says that Liam is lonely, has nobody else, and has no siblings or girlfriend. But then my boyfriend kind of guilts me because I know this sounds awful. Liam is the perfect package for guilt. His mother died when he was young, then his father, and he do not talk anymore. So Liam just does not have anyone else to talk to. I honestly think my boyfriend is guilt tripping me, and I do not think I can do this relationship anymore. If nothing changes, I am leaving. This has gone on for 3 months. Sure, I feel bad for Liam, but I do not really know him, and it is not my problem. It is also not just dates. Movie nights, he is here. Going to the mall, he is there. Where is he not? Also, I know this sounds made up. I still cannot believe it, but it is very much real. I basically just need validation that it is okay to break up with my boyfriend over this whole situation. Update. I broke up with my ex. I'm going to call him Xavier. I went to where we agreed to meet up, and guess who he brought with him? You guessed it, it was Liam. I was very annoyed at this point. I told him I wanted to speak with him privately, and he brought fucking Liam. It was very uncomfortable to break up with someone in front of their best friend, but I was too pissed. I told him I said I wanted to speak privately. He said, "Say it in front of Liam." Eventually, I just got annoyed and said, "That's it. I don't want Liam always here in our private life on dates, everywhere." He basically said, "Remember what I told you about Liam's circumstance, blah blah blah." I said something like, "I'm sorry, but I don't give a damn about what Liam's going through right now. This is about me breaking up with you." Meanwhile, Liam was just standing there looking confused. I'll get back to this later. So we basically got into a fight in this park, and it got to the point where I told him that he manipulates me into not kicking Liam out of our dates and about everything he told me Liam went through. Like being a brother to Xavier, saving Xavier's life, dead mom, absent dad, no siblings, friends, or a girlfriend. Then Xavier looked like he got caught or something, and Liam got angry saying, "What did you tell her?" This was all really funny and really awful at the same time. It turns out none of what Xavier told me was true. Liam has a fiance, has a real brother and sister, and his mom isn't dead. So anyway, I definitely broke up with Xavier. Like 40 minutes later, Liam messaged me basically saying that Xavier told him that I wasn't comfortable being alone with Xavier and that he thought I wanted Liam to be on the dates. Sir, what? Liam said the reason he agreed is that his fiancée is living in Europe to finish up her study abroad program and he had nothing better to do. So Xavier just flat out is a liar. I'm glad I broke up with him, mad I got lied to. But oh well, this was honestly not the turn of events I was expecting, and I have to get it out somewhere. Update 2. I recently made the post below and they kind of blew up in a way I was not expecting. One cross post has 16,000 upvotes, Bored Panda made a piece on it, and it has been featured in numerous YouTube shorts and one TikTok with 100,000 views. I am very grateful for the people who encouraged me and pushed me to break up with Xavier, and I am honestly happy I could give some people a good laugh. It's pretty wild, and I can give an update on how things are going now and answer any questions you may have. I am kind of just flabbergasted that it got so popular. Super Laser said, "My guess is Xavier is in love with Liam but is likely too homophobic to admit his feelings." Armadillo said, "Well, she's taken her boyfriend, why can't he bring his?" Rayon Jersey said, "What was his end game? Why?" To this comment, a deleted user said, "I think Xavier is in love with Liam and is trying to make him jealous by having a girlfriend. He sounded like he never liked OP. It is baffling, but I am guessing he is obsessed with his friend." This next post was made in the AITA subreddit by a user named Majestic Designer. The post is titled, "I don't want to forgive my husband for cheating on me with his ex-wife." I am honestly a mess and do not know what to do, so any advice would be appreciated. I am 27 years old and my husband, Peter, is 37. We have been married for 3 years and dating for 6. He has an ex-wife, Allison, who is 37 and divorced him a year before we met. We have a son, Jack, who is 7 and was adopted after we got married. I love him as my own child because he is. I know Peter is bisexual and I have no problem with that. I also had no problem with his ex-wife, Allison. My issue has been with his family as they are a bit homophobic and always telling Peter he should get back together with Allison. 2 weeks ago, we were in my husband's family's town to celebrate Jack's birthday. We wanted to spend it as a family. My mother-in-law decided it would be a good idea to invite Allison, who arrived in the middle of the party. I did not want to ruin Jack's birthday, so I stayed quiet and spent all my time with Jack, playing with him and his cousins at his request. When it was time to cut the cake, I noticed Allison and Peter were not there. I went inside and looked for them around the house. I found them in Peter's old bedroom, taking their clothes off. I stood there in shock for a moment, but then left to continue celebrating Jack's birthday. Part of me wanted to scream and cry, but I was also in shock and refused to make Jack's birthday about me. We cut the cake and opened the presents. People were already leaving when Allison and Peter came back. Peter took me aside and said that I should not have cut the cake without him present and that it was disrespectful. I stared at him and said, "I'm sorry, I just thought you'd be too busy getting into your ex-wife's pants." He got quiet, so I took Jack and left the house to go back to the hotel. Once I put Jack to bed and made sure he was asleep, I locked myself in the bathroom and broke down. I called a friend and he tried his best to console me. I only calmed down in the morning when I took Jack out for breakfast because I did not want him to see me like that. I am now watching Jack play in the park, and I do not want him to suffer. I do not want him to have a broken family, and I do not want him to know that relationships are not happily ever after. Peter has been calling and texting, apologizing for everything, and I am tempted to forgive him. I am tempted to just have my family back. All my friends say that it was just a mistake, that he was vulnerable, and that Allison is his ex-wife. So what am I supposed to do now? I need advice from people who do not know Peter or me personally. Please, any advice is helpful. Update. Well, first of all, I want to thank you all for your advice, and I want to explain some things before the actual update. Thank you for opening my eyes about my situation. Peter and Allison did not notice me when I saw them. There was very loud music downstairs, and they were not facing the door. I did not stop them because I was in shock. I just stood there for a moment, and then I heard my son, so I unconsciously focused on him. I was pretty much on autopilot. Peter did not come to the hotel with me because I changed to a different one. He did try to follow me, but I took a taxi and left. As far as I know, he is staying with his parents and Allison left. We met when I was 20 and he was 30. We started as friends and we ended up dating. Yes, we are both men, and no, I did not feel manipulated or groomed by him. Those were the most asked things, and I did answer some comments, not all. Now, on to the update. I did, as some of you said, take some tests to rule out any sexually transmitted infections or diseases. The results are coming back in a few days, and I will take another test in 3 weeks to be sure. My son is having a sleepover with a friend, and I decided to speak with my husband. He came by our house a few minutes after I texted him. He asked about Jack and I told him where he was. Then we sat on the couch and started talking. I started crying after a few minutes and he followed. I asked some simple questions. When? Why? How many times? Among others. This is what I could figure out from all the things he said. It happened for the first time when he visited his parents alone 2 years ago. They invited Allison, they both got drunk. He was feeling lonely as I had been paying more attention to Jack since we adopted him and they slept together. Nothing happened again until our son's birthday party. He said his mother pressured him a bit and he caved in. I do not believe he did it for that reason, but I do not know. He said he does not love her and I believe him, but that does not negate what he did. After talking for a while, I told him that I wanted a divorce. He started sobbing and begging for another chance, but I told him that I cannot give him another chance because I would not be able to trust him again, and I do not want that in a relationship. He kept crying and begging for another 30 minutes until I told him that we have to think about Jack and his well-being and that we could stay friends and co-parent him. He got mad, really mad. He started yelling that it was all Jack's fault, that we should not have adopted him, and that he is the one getting between us. I was crying and really scared. I had never seen him this angry. He hit the table and stormed out of the house. I called the house where Jack is staying and told them that if Peter shows up there, they cannot open the door. After that episode, I was scared that Peter would try to hurt Jack. I called my friend again, Thomas, and told him everything that happened. He came by and is staying with me until I feel better. Right now, I'm trying to figure out what to do and how to go on with the divorce. Update 2. Sorry for taking so long to update, but it has been a chaotic week and I am pretty shaken up. I will try to summarize everything. My husband has been showing up at my workplace, following me, and calling me from burner phones. I was afraid he would go after Jack, as many of you said he might, but he has not. He said many things, but I will try to include the important parts. He said that he misses when it was just the two of us, that I stopped paying attention to him when we adopted Jack, that I am not his anymore. He said he missed how dependent I used to be on him. I was very insecure when we met, but I started working on my issues after we adopted Jack because I did not want to be a bad example for him. When we got married, I used to get sick all the time. I was weak and tired, so he would take care of me all day and all night. The doctors could not tell what was wrong with me, and I did not get better until sometime after we adopted Jack. I suppose that dependence is what he missed. Yesterday, he followed me to work and started screaming that I am his and that we made vows to stay together. We had to call security and he waited for me next to my car. I panicked and took a taxi home. He keeps messaging me and showing up at our house. I took a few weeks off work to be with Jack, although he is actually taking this better than I am. I made an appointment with a therapist for him, and when the divorce is finalized, I will go to one myself. I have been debating what to do, so I will update when something happens. Update 3, this is the final update for anyone who is interested. I am only doing this update to give some closure as some people messaged me to ask for it. So here it is. This has been a really difficult time, but I am almost divorced. I have primary custody of Jack and I have a restraining order against Peter and Allison. I will try to be quick, but a lot has happened. After I made the previous post, Peter kept calling and stalking me. I did not know what to do until I started packing Peter's things and found a box of pictures of me from before we met, about 3 or 4 years before we met while he was still married to Allison. I never knew why they got divorced. He just said it was too painful to talk about, so I never asked. Swallowing my anger, I sent Allison a message about the pictures. She told me they got divorced because she saw him stalking my Facebook several times and found the same box I did. He called it an innocent crush and curiosity, but she thought he was cheating on her, so they divorced. A year later, he met me, but Allison always believed I was the side piece. I read some comments saying maybe I was sick because he was making me sick. I do not know if that is possible. I really do not know. The illnesses were bad enough to keep me in bed, like having a bad cold, but I stopped looking into it. After I found the pictures, I confronted Peter without Jack in the house. He seemed, I do not know, proud. He kept smiling and saying that all he did was for us, that it was love at first sight and we were destined. He was just making sure it happened. Apparently, we had met before becoming friends. I remember meeting him at a party through friends, but it turns out we met before, as teenagers. Our towns were close by, and my school took trips to nearby towns. We met on one of those trips. We were friends for a summer, but then he went to college and I soon forgot about him. He later found my Facebook, and that is how the story continued. I was horrified. He tried to console me, telling me he did it out of love and that if we had not adopted Jack, everything would be fine. I was bawling my eyes out. My entire marriage felt like a lie. He said he only slept with Allison because he knew it would get my attention, that we did not need to divorce, and that I knew he loved me. He promised to be a better dad for Jack if I made more time for him. He told me to quit my job because he earned enough to take care of us and that would give me more time with him. I was in shock. Then he hugged me, calming me down. I admit that for a moment, I allowed myself to consider his proposal, but I kept thinking about his lies. The stalking, the deception, the obsession. It creeped me out, so I pulled away and told him I would go through with the divorce. He refused. He hugged me tighter and screamed that I needed him, that he could protect and take care of me, that I was his husband and only his. I was terrified. I slapped him and pulled away, yelling at him to get out of my house. He would not leave. He just kept screaming and holding on to me until a neighbor heard the commotion and called the police. I filed a restraining order and have been caring for Jack since. During the divorce proceedings, Peter asked for 50-50 custody, which surprised me because in all this time, he had not cared about seeing Jack. I later found out it was only so he could see and speak to me regularly. He has been contesting every single part of the divorce, trying to drag it out, and it has been working. He even offered to give me child support, allowed me to keep the house and other things. That is what has been happening in my life. The only happy thing that occurred was on Halloween. Jack insisted on dressing up as Spider-Man and wanted me to dress as Tony Stark, so we did. I took him trick-or-treating. It was the most adorable sight ever, and I knew I made the right choice regarding him and Peter. I am sorry for such a long post, but this will probably be my last update. Thank you so much for the advice and for listening to me. Update 4. I know I said my last update would be the final one, but I am so confused right now. We are finishing the divorce proceedings, but Peter's attitude has done a complete 180-degree turn, and I do not know if I am losing my mind. The last time I posted here, Peter was basically saying our son was the reason for our divorce and only wanted custody of him to see me. Well, now he is acting like father of the year. A friend of mine, Dean, is handling Jack's drop-offs and pickups, so I do not have to see Peter. At first, Peter was angry and called me because he thought Dean and I were dating, but then he did not care anymore. I expected Peter to treat Jack badly, so I watched closely, asking Jack about his father, how things were going, and so on. Jack told me Peter has been acting like the perfect dad. He is nice, plays with him, helps him, and is completely different from before. I have talked to Peter and he said he is going to therapy, which I am happy about. He has also messaged me, apologized, and suggested couples therapy. I declined and he has not pressed the issue, but now he wants us to meet at his house tomorrow to discuss everything that has happened, saying it is part of his therapy. I have not gone to therapy myself, I cannot afford it right now, but Jack is going. I cannot say I do not miss Peter because he was a great partner and husband before everything went wrong, but I just do not trust him after all that happened. So I do not know what to say to him tomorrow or how to express how I feel about it. Is it wrong to miss him? I mean, this whole mess happened because he slept with someone else, and I know he has not seen Allison and will not be seeing her again because she is out of the picture too. Should I just move past it? Jack also says he misses the three of us together. He has cried to me about it more times than I can count, and keeps asking why I cannot forgive his dad. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to feel? It is a short update. I guess I am just trying to vent without judgment from people I know and to give an update to those who asked for it. Thanks again for all the support I received on my other posts. Final update. Okay, I am going to clear up a few things before I give you the actual update. I do not answer comments. I prefer to reply to every question here instead of responding to the same question separately. First, I should have explained it better, but my restraining order was a temporary one, only for 30 days. Second, Peter was a very good husband. I read that people said he was abusive throughout our relationship, but he was not. He was also a good dad to Jack. Everything went wrong when I caught him cheating. Third, what Jack was saying was not something Peter told him directly. I talked with him and made sure. He just has been missing our life from before. Fourth, Peter would never hurt Jack the way some of you suggested. My situation might make it seem like he could, but he never even touched me or groomed me. I talked to Jack just to be certain, and he reassured me that nothing happened. Now, on to the update. I did meet with Peter. Most of you told me not to go to his apartment, so I suggested meeting at a park, taking a walk, or something similar. When I saw him, he seemed different, very depressed, and he hugged me right away. He would not stop apologizing for what happened. We started talking and walking. He did not try to justify what he said or did, but he did say he regrets it. He told me that he misses me and misses being together. I asked about Allison, and he told me he has cut her and his parents out of his life, which I believe. Then I asked about what he said regarding Jack. He explained that he resented Jack for a long time because my attention was not on him anymore, and that it was selfish. He was too used to being the center of my world, so when everything suddenly changed, he could not handle it. He told me he loves Jack, but he also admitted that if giving him up meant having me back, he would do it in a heartbeat. We talked for hours while Jack was with my friend. I cried a lot. There were some things I chose not to ask, like whether he was drugging me, as some of you suggested, because honestly, I do not want to know. We have been texting these past few days, mostly about Jack, but I am considering family therapy, mainly to help Jack cope with everything. The divorce is still moving forward, which Peter was not happy about, but he is not angry anymore, just sad. I also recently met a man in a coffee shop and we have been texting a lot, so I will see how that turns out. That is it for the moment. I will update you if you have many questions or if anything else happens. Xblossom said, he was a very good husband and father except for the stalking, cheating, and poisoning me for years, but really a great dude. To this comment, user Snoowords said, also, he is willing to give up the child so that the two of them can go back to how it was. Amazing Cabinet said, I truly do not understand how OP can live his life blissfully, willfully ignorant of the giant axe hanging over his head. His ex was fixated on him when he was a child and stalked him, manipulating a relationship with him as a very young adult. Now his ex is convinced at a delusional level that their lives would be perfect and everything would be well again if they just got rid of the child they adopted together. I see no way this ends without violence to someone. Either the ex is going to do something to the child or something to OP when he realizes they are never going to reconcile or that OP is dating. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, Gamersupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.